So, but for here, thank you again, all, for being here tonight. And we're excited. There's always a lot of things to go through. You know, talking about like the mission trip coming up to Panama, and there's a lot of exciting things with that too. But again, I think the main thing I want to do, we're going to here show a couple videos, is leave you with one. I want to leave you with, I hope that you feel encouraged for taking this step. Just taking this step, and it is more and more rare as a young person in your teens to step out of the boat in this kind of way, and so I'm proud of you for that. It's a challenge to go. There's lots of steps. We broke it down in kind of 10 steps. So if you go like, well, what do I need to do? You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I think most of us have done one already. The first one is just kind of let us know that you're planning on going on the trip. And there's an application online. So you go to soulteammissions.com, apply, and it probably takes about 10 minutes. And on that website, you put like your name, information. There's a few questions you add, like what makes you want to go on a mission trip, and then you'll give like I think your t-shirt size and a few other things so we know what to expect. And then if you've done that already, and then you should after that be looking out for an email that's like an acceptance email saying congrats, we're glad to have you join us. And then as soon as you get that, you can go on to number 2, which is to apply for your passport. How many here have either applied for a passport or already have a passport? So I can kind of see hands. So, okay. So that's most of us. So if you're in the boat where you've never had a passport or you've never applied for one, that's important to start early. That's why it's number 2 and not number 8, because that passport can take sometimes 6 to 8 weeks to actually get it and go through all that. So there's a website for the passport there. You apply for it. There's some fees to pay for, and sometimes it involves some photos where you might need to go to the post office or you might need to go to Walgreens to get your photo. So just be aware of that. Is something to start really early. And then number 3, and I'm going to pause it here because we're going to get into the other stuff later, but fundraising is a big part of this. And if you have not been on this trip before, it may be like, wow, it costs so much money to go on a mission trip. How could I possibly get that much money? It is very possible, and there's people that want to help you go. So a lot of the challenge is getting the word out, being willing to do jobs for supporters and saying, hey, can I come rake your leaves in your yard? I'm going on this mission trip. I'm trying to make some money to make this happen. What can I do? Looking for those kind of jobs. I have found that for people your age that are wanting to go and are motivated and willing to work, like every time, I don't think there's ever been a year when someone didn't get to go because they didn't raise the funds. If you put yourself out there and you say, hey, I'm willing to work and do things. So that's number 3. I'm going to pass it to you. That's kind of I just wanted to kind of get it started and leave those things. There's a bunch of other details coming up here too. I don't know how many details to get into yet on the specifics of the mission trip, because I think you have some.
Well, I think we're going to do videos next, right?
Okay.
Yes, we can. Definitely. So we have a couple of videos. Ben and Rachel are actually joined us online, but they wanted to send us a little hello. And for people online, we will share this with you guys remotely later.
So I'll introduce Ben and Rachel King. Currently are standing right here in Argentina. They are going to be on the mission trip with us as leaders. So kind of in a team leader type, project director / type role. So they don't get to be here at this meeting because they're a long ways away right now in Argentina, but they will be here from day 1 when the mission trip starts. And they're good friends and very experienced missionaries.
And hello, Ben and Rachel. They're online right now. Okay.
Hi, I'm Ben.
I'm Rachel.
And we work with Soulteam Ministries in Buenos Aires.
And we are just so excited to be going with you guys to Panama this year.
It'll be really fun. So I really encourage you guys to be praying about it, be asking God what He wants to do, and we'll see you there.
See you here.
Okay.
Short and sweet.
Short and sweet. And then we also have a nice video.
Introduce Selena is our main contact in Panama City, Panama. And we've done a number of trips working with her over years and years. And going back to 23 years ago. I think was the first mission trip we worked with her on. So she works also with many churches and Campus Crusade for Christ there, and is connected with all kinds of like churches and villages in the jungle. So I mean, she is she's got more sites for us to go, more places for us to do than we could even handle. So she's a very experienced, awesome person. Selena.
Hello everyone, my name is Selena and I am coming to you from sunny and very warm Panama. Yes, get ready to sweat a little. I serve as a full-time missionary with crew, helping people to know Jesus, growing their faith, and share his love with others. And honestly, I am so excited that you guys are coming. You will be serving people through vision care, but even more importantly, helping them see Jesus with their hearts. Welcome to Panama, the heart of the world, the bridge of the universe. Yes, we really say that and we are proud of it. It is a beautiful country full of amazing people, but also real challenges like inequality and corruption. And that's why what you are bringing matters so much. Because the message of Jesus brings true transformation socially and spiritually. So get ready to serve, to love, to grow, and to see God move in incredible ways. We can't wait to have you here. See you soon here in Panama.
So, all right, Alicia.
Yeah, I was very inspired by the background music that she
Yes.
put. I was like, let's throw a video together, and she like threw it together really quick. It was amazing. So Selena's our main contact. We're super excited to work with her just because she's such a veteran and has so much experience and is a lot of fun to work with. So she mentioned a few things about Panama. I just wanted to throw some fun things that you may not know about Panama as well. And so I was just going to go over. Panama is the only place in the world where you can see the sun rise and the Pacific and set in the Atlantic, because it has both of the oceans on one side to the other. The Panama Canal is 48 miles long. It's an artificial waterway completed in 1914. And so it drives 1/3 of the country's entire economy. So it's a big deal to have that 48-mile long artificial waterway that boats go through. Panama City is the only capital city in the world with a natural rainforest within its city limits. And Panama was the first Latin American country to adopt the US dollar as its official currency. So some fun things that we're going to be learning. That's just a few. The last one is Panama has more bird species than the entire continental USA. So there's a lot of birds. So a lot of people who are bird watchers go to Panama. They have 914 species, 986, where America has 914. So on the spiritual side, though, I was going to mention that the majority of the country, 65 to 80%, are Roman Catholic, and Evangelical Protestant is about 10 to 22%. Some people, between 6 and 10%, claim no religion. And then all the other religions, 4 to 5% is your Jewish, Muslim, Buddhist, Hindu, and some indigenous beliefs. As far as the indigenous people, there are about, 700,000 indigenous inhabitants in Panama. So about 17% of the country is got indigenous inhabitants. The country itself is about 4.6 million, and 2 million of those are in Panama City itself, where we're going to be based. We're going to be staying in a hotel there. We're working out the details with Selena as we speak. We were talking to her last week about the schedule and the places we're going to go, and she's really excited about focusing in on these areas that are really concentrated that local churches have been trying to do outreaches to, but it's going to be a lot easier when we serve them with vision care and glasses and like a community outreach, and being able to really support the local churches there in their efforts for evangelism. And so she already has some in mind. She's looking into the village trip options as well. So we're really excited about what she has planned and the work that they're already doing there, and getting to partner with them. And so then it continues after we leave. And I think that that's really critical. You don't want to go there and then leave and nothing happens afterwards, right? Because God said, go and make disciples, right? Not converts. So we're really excited about partnering with her and what we're going to do in the effective ministry that you guys are going to see happen, and the difference that it's going to make. You're going to be amazed at the difference that you can make, no matter how young you are, as being just open and willing and saying, yes, Lord. And it's going to be, I believe, life-changing. I really do. And God loves it when we ask him to have his heart and his compassion for the world. And that is what we're doing still on this earth. So we're excited about that. The next thing
Gold forms.
is that the next thing on the list? All right. So if you've seen as one of the steps, we call it the gold forms because we print them on orangish, goldish paper, just so it'll stand out. It's actually not really gold forms, it's just forms, boring old forms you have to fill out, but we put them in gold just so that they stand out for you. So you're gonna see the first page is kind of like an outline of everything that's gonna be in the gold form. You put your missionary name on there. And then you're going to see the first one is the consent for medical treatment, release, and hold harmless for travel. This one has to be notarized. So make sure to work with the notary. Just a warning, if you've never had anything notarized, you don't want to fill it all out and then take it to the notary. They want to see you sign it in front of them. So make sure that you get it notarized.
You can fill out the information part, but don't sign anything until you're in front of the notary.
Right, but this one only has, there's the first page, you can put some information. The signatures, you want to do that in front of the notary. Then the second page is the medical information. So you'll want to just list any explanations, if there's any yeses on some of those questions. We want to make sure that we can address anybody's specific medical situations and be prepared if anything were to come up. And so we like to have that information from your parents and you. And then the third one is the check, just like a medical checklist. And so we're aware of where you're coming from. There's a number of those things. If you have any questions about any of them, or if you're like, yeah, I'm not sure if this is what you're talking or asking about, make sure, just feel free to reach out anytime. You can text or email or group me or WhatsApp. I mean, there's just a number of ways to reach out. And then if you checked no, that's fine. If you check no on all of them, then you don't have to do the physician's release form. So if you checked yes on any of them, that's when we need a physician release form that says it's okay for you guys to travel and that they're aware of that, or we're aware of anything that your physician would want us to be aware of. But if you check no on everything, again, that's come up and you don't have to get a physician's release form on something that you don't have any issues with. Number 4, verification of medical insurance. So it's important to get like temporary travel medical insurance. We've listed here really easy insurance. It's the one I usually get. It's really cheap. It's just for the few days that you're there. They prorate it, so you're not spending a ton of insurance. You're not adding a huge insurance on your current if you don't want to, but your current might provide it if you look into it.
So question real quick under number 4, it said one emergency contact number, just my number, and then it said maximum rate coverage in US dollars. I have no idea how to put that down.
So the coverage that, like when you sign up for the travel insurance,
Okay.
like you're gonna choose which coverage that you want.
Oh, okay,
And
okay,
it's gonna,
gotcha.
you're just gonna write down what the coverage
Okay,
was
gotcha.
that you purchased.
That makes sense.
And you, yeah, parents can be the emergency contact. That makes the most sense. So whichever person we want to contact, if there was any type of reason for us to use insurance. Most of the time, you don't need to, but you like to be prepared. Right? Okay, so then that one is going to be you or your parent. If you're under 18, you need your parent's signature on your medical insurance. Any questions about anything I've gone so far? I know I'm kind of
Yeah, just one more.
Yeah.
We have Blue Cross Blue Shield, but do you recommend getting this as well?
You would
Just
want
to
to
be
reach out to your
covered,
Blue Cross
okay.
Blue Shield and see if they cover international.
Gotcha,
If
okay.
they do, then you're
Then I'm
good,
set,
you can
okay.
put that down there.
Okay.
If they don't cover international, then
Then
you
I
want
would
to
need
do
to go ahead
something
and do
separate.
that.
Great questions.
Because most of the youth are young, some of the policies are like $1 a day. I mean, but if your insurance already has international, that's fantastic.
Sure, sure.
But it's not. I remember. I think I'm older, and so I think I'm like $3 or $7 a day. Or it was a reasonable. It didn't seem
Right.
crazy expensive, which is good.
Very inexpensive.
Okay.
There's different usually packages that you could choose. but
Correct.
It's usually pretty cheap if you go with the real basic one.
Okay.
For notarizing, is it just the first page that we don't want to sign anything? Or is
Yeah,
it
so
all
there's
the
a few,
pages?
there's a
Okay.
few
Okay.
places to get notarized, yes. So the first page, there's a few things to be notarized. I'm just repeating everything since I'm wanting my life people to hear it. I'll go over the ones that need notarized all together. So number one, and then the physician's release form. This is if you said yes on anything. So this is what the physician's release form looks like. So your physician's gonna fill this out and sign it and let us know if there's any dietary changes or anything we need to know, limitations that you have physically. Those are really rare with teen groups, but if you do, let us know and make sure that we're informed. And then the honor code. Obviously, we want to make sure everyone is going to have a good trip, have a positive trip. And so we sign the honor code and so make sure you fill that out or read through that and then agree to it. And then number 7 is where we get into the notary again. And now I'm going over these very quickly because I feel like you guys can fill it out. If you have questions, you can reach out to me individually, but we'll go into a lot more fine-tuned details in the second missions meeting. This is just kind of like, let's get the steps going. I want to bore you guys to death on our first missions meeting, right? And so, but if you do have questions, definitely don't be hesitant. I'm sure somebody's asked it before, so don't feel bad. Okay, travel of a minor. So with other countries, airlines, other countries, we get to the border, they want to make sure that your parent is okay, that you're going with us. We're not just taking off with a bunch of young people without parents' permissions, okay? And so it's really like we cannot get you into Panama if your parent hasn't signed this and hasn't filled this out. And you'll notice that there's a second page there's a page for the English and there's a page for the Spanish. And they both have to be signed. So some people just fill out the English. And then we're like, oh no, the Spanish has to be filled out too, because most of the people working at the borders, they want to see it in Spanish. Or if we go, the airlines, sometimes they only speak Spanish. And so we've actually had issues with people that only filled out the English and not the Spanish. And then they're like, no, we're not letting the child through. And so that was something that we had to work out. But I cannot emphasize this enough. Over half the team last year had an issue with this. So please, 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 capital please, make sure you get all the pages notarized, including the Spanish one. And so there should be 3 pages total that need a notary stamp. And that's that. The number 1 and then the number 7 has 2. Did you have a comment?
No, I was just going to say, because that's a point that is some people forget. So how many pages need a notary? How many pages need a notary?
notary stamps do you need?
Would I need 3 since I'm not a minor?
No,
Okay.
leadership,
2.
yeah.
I'm
So
like,
you
One.
just making sure.
So
That
if you're
doesn't mean
18 and older, then you don't need to do like a release for a parent to let you know.
And just to point out, all the forms have to be physically turned into us at some point.
Yes. So sometimes people, especially your out of state participants, you'll want to fill these out and you can send them in as pictures. So then we have the information. We are going to ask for them before the trip starts, just because we want to be aware of the dietary restrictions. Specifically for camp, we have to get the food ready before camp starts. So we have to have it before day 1. But you'll need to mail them to us or bring them to camp. We have to have the physical form. We have to have the physical signatures and notaries. So in the interim, you can send pictures, and that's great to just get the checklist off, but they have to be physical and you get them to us.
And I'll add to that on that form, probably the best time to work on is the next couple weeks, to get it done. Because if you show up at camp day one, this happened last year. They're like, oh, I forgot one page. It becomes a big problem. So just sooner you can kind of get those done. If you can have them all done, hopefully by the next meeting, that'd be a good goal.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna repeat that just in case
Yeah.
the live people didn't hear that.
Yeah.
But the best thing is to just get the gold forms started and finished within the next few weeks. Just because if you run into anything, you have some time, or we found people thought they'd done it right, and then you get to camp and, oh no, we still needed to finish something or missed a page, and we could have caught that if you'd got it done early and sent it in or sent pictures. Just for us to check it. So yeah, the paperwork isn't super fun, but it is pretty critical for everyone to go. So go ahead and prioritize that. And that's pretty much where everybody probably is in their step, is you should have applied for your passport and then filling out your forms and raising your support. And so that moves us to the next page. And I'm gonna let Lydia take this on so you guys don't get tired of my voice.
Yes. Okay. So, and Dr. Sam is helping me.
I'll be your helper.
Yes.
No way.
If you wouldn't mind taking one and passing one
Sure,
down.
absolutely.
So we have the packing list. We're not going to go through the packing list item by item, just because you guys hopefully have reading comprehension enough. But there's a few things we wanted to point out and highlight. One is, as Dr. Sam's handing you guys all out, and do we have one more piece that we could wave in front of
Have a good wave.
wave it in front of the camera. So we have royal blue scrubs that we all would like to match. If you look at the Soulteam website, you can see on the website, we all like to be uniform.
Wait, what color?
Royal blue.
Okay, royal blue.
Royal blue. Did I say
So
it
not
wrong?
navy blue.
Correct. The shirt I'm wearing does not match. So I cannot wear this
So
shirt.
sky
as a
blue is
skirt.
okay too?
No, sky blue,
Wow.
no sky blue, no navy blue,
How
royal,
navy blue is okay.
no, royal blue only. And there, if you look on the Soulteam website, you can kind of see an idea of the videos, and you'll see the pictures. So we want to make sure everybody gets it, because like the mention will be a little sweaty. I would highly recommend getting 3 pairs, not 2 pairs, because it is more humid. It's and you'll see on the top there, it says the average is 75 to I think 85 degrees. Sorry, 90. 75 to 90 degrees every day with rain, which makes it humid. It is doable. I hate heat, and I've done it many times, and I love it. I mean, Panama's fun. It's great because you also have the ocean nearby. But just be prepared that you will be sweating. So I'd highly recommend doing the 3 pairs. The other thing we wanted to highlight on the packing list is the luggage. So these are all, if you hold them, they're good examples. You can hold it flat, so all of these are acceptable luggage. We have to squeeze our luggage into many places that are tight fitting, like underneath seats, things like that. So we need you to bring bags that are pliable and can be folded down and folded flat,
You
squished
put it
flat.
on a canoe, you can put
Correct.
it on top of a bus, you can strap it to a donkey,
Yes.
whatever is needed.
So bags like this are the perfect bags to bring. Walmart has a lot that are, pretty inexpensive. So does Amazon.
So what kind of bags do we not want to bring then?
We do not want to bring anything see how these, when they're laying down on the floor, they lay flat or within just almost flat, like within a couple inches. Collapsible bags. Anything that's like, I would say over 2 inches thick is not acceptable.
No,
So anything
hard-sided,
hard-sided.
yeah.
So
So if it's square, not good. If
Correct.
it's hard-sided, that's not good. We want soft-sided, we want ones that bend, that are flexible like that.
there are a few that do have wheels that can still work as a soft-sided, but not the ones that start being hard-sided on the edges. Yes, Simon.
So could I just use the one I used last year?
I don't remember any issue with yours at all.
I don't even remember your backlash.
I don't remember your bag at
Must
last
have been
year.
okay.
It must have been, if we told you your bag was not acceptable, then it was not acceptable.
Imagine too with the bag, like imagine yourself with the bag, and let's say we're at we're going to go on a hike, and you're gonna hike from maybe one spot to another through on a trail. So that's not a bag that you'd want. Like think about the kind of bag. Probably the ideal bag is one you could put on your back. A lot of these come with shoulder straps, or even like I like this. This one even has like backpack thing, so you can once you fill it up, you can kind of do this thing.
I don't have the camera, so you can see what you're doing.
So carry it that way. But just think about that when you're walking along. You may be walking a long ways, and it may be on a rocky path or something that you can't roll on. So be prepared in that kind of way with the bag you can carry.
Yes.
If they have questions, we'd love pictures.
Yes. If you have a question about your luggage, send us a photo, and I would be happy. On the packing list that we're going to send out in the email posts for the people online, there'll be our packing list and our packing list online. It has some example photos. But yes, is there any questions in this group here or online? Go ahead.
Sharon is asking, is the luggage going to be carry-on size?
No, from what I
Okay.
understand, we'll have one full size bag
Okay,
for checked, and then we'll have the backpack as carry-on.
cool.
That's what we've heard so far. Be flexible though, because everything can always change.
Yeah,
But
the standard to expect would be one check-in bag and one small, what airlines call personal item, but that's the bag that you can put underneath your seat kind of thing.
So that's what to expect. The other thing is we did clarify a little bit more for the alumni, the shorts rule. And so you'll see that on the first page, just trying to be a little bit more friendly on that. I think that we are good on the packing list because you guys can go through it yourselves online and in person. It's pretty self-explanatory. There's a bunch of stuff like suggestions I put on there because I'm a nerd and I like, comforts.
So one thing people always ask is, what are we going to be doing? Like, what does a day in Panama look like? Like, what are we actually going to be doing? And so I'll try to just give you a quick visual and just imagine. We're going to make a video. This would be better, but imagine, you're going to get up, usually pretty early, and we'll have breakfast. We'll be at the hotel. We'll all, as a team, have breakfast at the same time. Right after breakfast, then we'll have a period of time we call a quiet time, where it's about 45 minutes to an hour, where there's a devotional. You'll have a little manual about this big, and you'll have a devotional in that manual. And then you'll basically, right after the devotional, you'll meet with your small group that's called the MAG, your group of usually 3 to 5. If you're a guy, it'll be all guys in that group. If you're a girl, it'll be all girls in that group. But you'll meet with your MAG and you'll talk about the Devo and kind of pray together. Then we'll all get together, we'll get our gear and load up on the bus. And then we'll travel on the bus to the site for ministry. And that could be a 15-minute bus ride, or it could be an hour and 15-minute bus ride, but depending on how far we're going. When we get to the site for ministry, and that might be a church, it might be just another ministry. We've done this at schools before, but we'll get to the site, and everybody's got their scrubs on, by the way, so we all look like you can see what color we have on, so you'll have your scrubs on. We'll get to the site and then we'll unload and you'll go to stations. And this is all stuff that we'll do at the training camp. So if you're like, well, I don't know how to check people's eyes, that's okay. If you're like, I'm not an eye doctor, that's okay. I'm not a nurse, that's okay. We're going to go through all that training at the camp the first few days. So you'll have your Spanish phrases, you'll have your training, you'll have the small group that you're in, you'll have the clinic station, and you're going to literally be you'll be helping people to fit them with glasses, the people that don't have any glasses. So it's pretty cool. As we work together as a team, you'll see how it all kind of comes together. And each person will come through. We might see 50 people. We might see 100 people. We've seen 150 people before at one site. So it can be a lot. It's a lot of fun. We give out a lot. You'll get a chance to lead people to Christ. We'll encourage you to talk about your testimony, and we'll work on that too in the training. So that's kind of up to the ministry site. When that day ends, we're usually pretty tired, but we're load back on the bus. We'll drive back to the base, and we'll usually do dinner back at the base. And then after dinner, there'll be some free time. And free time. What things are done at free time? It depends on the place that we're at, but I mean,
Yeah.
card games, there's, sometimes there's a pool. In fact, I think there's a pool, don't make me promise that, because I'm not 100%, but
Exploring, all kinds of fun stuff.
yeah, there's a lot of fun things. So on the trip too, halfway through the trip to maybe 2/3 of the way through, we're gonna take 3 to 4 days out and do a really special excursion of ministry too. What we usually call the village trip or the jungle trip. And that's gonna be someplace further away from the city. And that's always one of the most memorable, exciting things. So be prepared for that, jungle. Is that pretty good?
Yeah.
End of the day? Okay.
Does anyone have any questions online too? They haven't said any questions, but they said hello.
There is, I think one thing too I want to highlight is, I know there's a lot going on, but there's still another, if you think, oh, I'd love for my friend to go on this trip with me, there's still actually a little time where in the next week or two, it's kind of a last chance to throw on. There's a few more spots left still on the trip. We have actually a pretty good team this year, already more than we had last year. So I know that in this living room here, there's probably 10 of us, but this represents about a third of the team. There's a little over 30 signed up on our team. So, and they're coming from Kansas, from California, and
Arkansas,
Indiana,
Argentina.
yeah. So
Missouri.
there you go.
Missouri.
So multiple
Colin.
states. So we're excited about that. But
Sorry, Colin.
there actually is still a few spots left. So if you think, oh, I'd love for my friend to go, get with Lydia or Alicia here in the next week, and let's just make it happen quick if you're thinking about that.
I just want a question. Do you know how much time we'll have each day to read our Bible? And I think you may have already answered this, but my medication makes me drowsy, so I was literally just fighting to keep my eyes open.
I hear that, yeah. Yeah, there's a dedicated time to read your Bible. We'll have that in the morning devotional. So that'll be, that 45-minute time or so. And then and the other time that may come into play is travel, like planes and buses. We'll have there's a lot of times you're on a plane or a bus, and those are good opportunities too. So
Yeah, we travel to a different church every day. So there'll be a bus ride, usually to the site and back every day.
For the, I'm guessing, do they need to know a little bit of Spanish?
it's wonderful,
If they happen to.
more the merrier. If you
Okay.
can, yeah, anything you can learn, you're just going to benefit the team that much more. If anybody knows how to count to 10, we'll take it. If anybody can go beyond that and say baño, we'll take it. But the more you know, the better. So we love, you'll just be you'll be helping the team out a lot if you know any Spanish. Love it. So if you do, there's a basic trip information, and if you want to grab one of those are handy for just an invite. Lydia, what else? Anything?
I think, yeah. Any other questions? I think we're
So we're coming
wrap
up.
up. the break.
So in
Yeah,
a week,
eat some pizza.
yeah, in a week from now is pretty much when we're gonna look at the numbers and say, okay, who's kind of in this trip, and we're gonna start looking at airline tickets. So this is the time to jump on it, get serious, to start working towards it. There are some folks getting together to coordinate some fundraisers, so get in on that because those are helpful. And just keep the communication lines open. That's probably the biggest thing.
I'd love to introduce Natalie, her and Gabe are going to be coordinating all those fundraisers. So we introduced our other team leaders. I'd love to kind of just highlight her.
So Natalie, stand up, Natalie. This is Natalie Owen. Give her a hand.
Hello.
And I heard that Gabe is suffering in California.
In Long Beach.
Yes, yes.
Poor guy.
Poor guy.
But Gabe and Natalie have done missions before, and they are going to be so much fun as team leaders. So they're going to be team leaders for this trip, as well as you saw Ben and Rachel from Argentina. So I want to introduce them. Natalie, Gabe's not here.
And they're going to be helping with fundraisers.
That's right. Yeah. So in fact, for fundraiser questions, should we reach out to Natalie and Gabe, or should we reach out to?
They can reach out to GroupMe,
Okay.
because that'll reach
Okay.
everybody, and anybody can answer the question.
Okay.
I have one more, I'm sorry, go. One more question, just at the bottom, that it said instead of a foam mat for sleeping by a pool floaty from Walmart, do they need a sleeping bag or, and how would you fit it into your suitcase?
Yeah.
Or is that something they don't need?
So on that other sheet, if you flip it over, that's actually the necessities packing list, and it does list sleeping bag. There you go.
Okay.
So what you were looking at is just alumni tips. So some people, like there's a jungle tripper will be sleeping probably, there's a good chance in the jungle trip, which is a few days, where they'll be sleeping on a ground or the floor, a hard surface in their sleeping bag. So some people like to bring some sort of padding sometimes. I have found it's like a $2 pool float from Walmart is my favorite go-to because then you can just throw it away afterwards or donate it to the kids in the community. That's what I would do.
Economical tip.
But the sleeping bag, an actual
Yes,
sleeping bag,
correct.
is that another thing that they carry onto the plane?
No, you're gonna put that in your main luggage.
In your main
So
luggage,
all of
okay.
this has to fit inside your main luggage.
Okay,
So you think of a smaller, like
a smaller sleeping.
you're not gonna need one for cold because it's gonna be,
Because it's gonna be hot.
it's gonna be
Just
hot.
get a thin one
Yeah.
then.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Small.
Great question though.
Yeah, great questions. So,
If they have any questions for especially the online ones, you'll want to repeat this to ask it over GroupMe.
so those of you in the online world, ask over GroupMe if you have more questions too. That's a great place because we can all see that quickly and answer. All right. Can you pray for us?
Yeah.
Okay. Lord, thank you for just this group here. Thank you for this day one. And really we do from day one, we want to give this into your hands. We know we can do all the preparations, cross every T, dot every I, check every box, but we know that ultimately if this is not your work and your mission, then it's really all in vain. So that's what we ask, that it not be any of our work but yours. We ask that there would be radical transformation of natives that are in Panama now, that you would begin to work on their hearts. I pray that you would work on our hearts as we prepare. Help us to prepare well, not to be lazy, but to get excited and to be motivated towards this, to grab hold of what you want us to do. And I pray for wisdom, for clarity. We pray just for this whole trip to glorify you. And we trust you with that. In all the ways that we are afraid, that we have maybe anxiety about things, help us to trust you. I pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.